welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, or should I say tonight's video because it's like pitch black outside, I am finally filming my Halloween makeup. So I did a test run the other day and it went so well, like I can't even describe. Like I thought it would just go completely wrong. I didn't plan it, I just kind of randomly sat down and decided to do a thing. And it worked. So if you want to check that out, that's over on my Instagram. I'll pop it up here, and now I'm going to have to try and recreate it and show you how I did it. The ring light in my glasses is really annoying us. Okay, that's better. So if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a huge thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you are notified every time I upload. So yeah, I hope you enjoy and let's get into the video. And if it does go a little bit wrong or I look a little bit wobbly, I'm just gonna blame it on the drink. So first we've got to get in the Halloween spirit, so find your favourite Halloween hairband and use it to push your hair back so you are ready to put your makeup on. Next I'm just taking my existing makeup off with just some ordinary face wipes. And I really hate showing my face without makeup, but it's gotta be done. Come on, let's be confident. And as we're transforming into a pumpkin, you've got to put on your brightest t-shirt. We've got to get in the spirit, we've got to get in character. So to start off this makeup look, I am not even doing a base, I am just getting some standard white cream face paint. You could find it in any Halloween shop, mine's just from Poundland. It's really not that good, and in all fairness, if you do want to go out wearing this makeup, you would probably have to purchase something a little more expensive, something that's going to stay on your face, but for demonstration purposes, this is what I'm using. So I'm starting off by just separating my face with a white line down the middle. So I'm going to have one side which is like the pumpkin side and one side which is more like the human side. Now I know this next bit's going to look a little bit funny, but I'm taking the same face paint that I used for the separation on my face and I'm going in with the eyebrow. But don't worry, this will all come together later. Now the opposite side of my face is what's going to be mainly white, so I'm just starting to build up the colour just with a really old makeup brush. It really doesn't matter which one you use, and I'm using the sponge that actually came with the makeup kit, and I'm just blending that all the way up my face and trying to get as much coverage as possible. And you'll see that I'm leaving like a little bit of a gap towards the top of my forehead. I didn't do this the first time, but I thought that it would work quite well, and it did, to be honest. So I'm just going to take a very light foundation to fill in that area and blend it down so that I can give it a bit more of a human element. I don't want to be completely orange and white, you know, I do want to make it that contrasting pumpkin look. So for this foundation, I'm using my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define. I believe it's in the shade F6. And this is a really good coverage foundation, and I just knew that it would work really well for the purposes. Now it did take a while to blend as well, but just persevere, it does work, it does blend in quite nicely, and I think it works quite well. I'm now going back over to the other side of my face and I am lightening the area around my eyebrow, ready to mark out the black and the details. And then I'm just taking a very small black crayon face paint. You don't even need to do this step at all if you don't want to, but I'm just outlining around my eye. And then after this, I'm just taking the black cream face paint. It's exactly the same as the white one. It's from Poundland, and I'm just using a different brush. Like I said, old brushes, and I'm just starting to fill in the area around my eyes. Now, although it looks like it's good coverage, it really isn't, and I realised at the end I should have used like a darker, a better black face paint, or you know, just something to the equivalent, but this is all I had at the time. Next I'm taking my Makeup Revolution eyebrow pencil, and I always just use one end to comb out my eyebrows before I start filling them in, and then I use the pencil crayon end to basically just fill them out. And now it's time for the serious details. So I'm going back in with the black face paint and I'm just colouring in my lips. And oh my god, I look like a goth. Then I'm just stretching it out on each side as far as you would basically like it to go. This is just to create like that huge, scary Halloween grin. And then just adding in the little spiky details on the smile. However, I realised that this was the wrong time to do this and it was a big mistake. I realised I hadn't even put the foundation on this side of my face. So I'm using my Maybelline Fit Me foundation in literally the darkest colour that I had in my makeup bag. Obviously I wouldn't normally use this, but for this purpose, you know, it makes a great pumpkin colour. And now I can finally go back in and finish off the smile. I wanted it to be quite like a smudged, messy look. I didn't want it to be like too defined. So for this, I used black eyeshadow again. Next, I'm taking my Real Techniques contour brush and I'm just contouring how I normally would. So I just use a powder. I use the NYX palette. And this is just to give the pumpkin look a bit more depth. I'm just contouring around my temples, the top of my head, and on my cheekbones. Next, I'm taking my brush again and I'm using the same black eyeshadow just to start to drag the pumpkin lines down my chin. Now you can either stop this look around your jawline or you can continue down onto your neck. I decided to blend it down a little bit into my neck and I thought that looked quite good. And I'm spacing the lines quite far apart because you need quite a bit of room to fill in the details in the middle. And then I'm just adding a little bit of detail around the line that's separating the middle of my face. Next, I'm taking some orange cream makeup. This one's from Halloween HQ. And I'm just taking this to detail along the lines that I've drawn down my face. And yes, I know it's looking a bit messy in the start, but trust me, I've got loads more colours to blend it out and it all comes together in the end. And every time I use a new colour for the details, I use it under my jawline just to give it like a bit of a shadowy look, just to make it look a bit more realistic and pop out. Next, I'm taking my Roxi Ride or Die palette, and this look wouldn't be complete without using the colour Pumpkin. It just fits. So I'm using this colour to go in again and detail along the lines of my pumpkin. So like I said, it's all about blending, just building up the colour. I spent a long time building up the colour. I mean, this video footage had 2 hours 45 minutes and you know, I've cut it down to about 10. So yeah, it took a long time. I'm just going back in with the black makeup and I am creating sort of like a skeleton look on my nose. I actually forgot to do this the first time and now I realise how there was something big missing. It just sort of pulls it all together and I don't know how I forgot to do it in the start. Now I'm using the same shade that I did before on my eye on the opposite side of my face. And I'm basically doing just a standard smoky orange kind of eyeshadow look. And then I'm just taking a slightly darker shade of orange in my crease and back under my eye again, just to build up the colours, build up the depth and the smokiness of the look. Next, I'm taking my felt tip eyeliner pen just to create a thin line and a flick. While I had the eyeliner out, I thought it was just a good opportunity to add like a bit more detail. So I didn't do this the first time either, but I thought it would look good just to add like a few cracks into my forehead. Now this is the part where it really comes together. So I'm taking my brightest highlighter that I have, and I'm taking this in the middle of every single section of the pumpkin. And finally, I'm just taking some ordinary liquid latex. I've never used latex before, as you can probably tell. So I don't really know how to use it, but I'm improvising. I wanted to create like a dripping look and like a very solid line separating both sides of my face. So it was a bit of trial and error, but we got there in the end, and I think it does look pretty okay. And I'm not gonna lie by saying I stuck my eyelashes on. It was so late at night that I just used whatever residue of glue was left on them and temporarily stuck them to my eyelids. And that's the final look. So I really hope you've enjoyed, and I really hope you like the final Halloween makeup.